Okay, so today we're going to tackle a really important topic: how to navigate the world of work when you have ADHD. We're going to look specifically at your rights, right here in the UK, and the laws that are in place to make sure things are fair and supportive for you.
But let's just start with a really direct question. I want you to think about your job, your office, your day-to-day. Is that environment, is it really working for you? Is it set up in a way that lets you do your best work?
You see, for so many people with ADHD, the standard office can feel like you're running an obstacle course that nobody else can even see. Constant distractions, really rigid schedules, maybe unclear instructions. These are all invisible hurdles that make it so tough to thrive. But the good news is, there's actually a legal framework designed to help level that playing field.
And that whole framework is built on a really powerful piece of legislation. You can think of it as your legal shield. It's the foundation for your rights when you're at work.
It's called the Equality Act 2010. Now, if you remember one thing from this, make it this name. This is the single most important law you need to know about. Its entire purpose is to protect you from discrimination and make sure that everyone gets a fair shot no matter what.
Now, what's absolutely crucial here is how the law defines the word disability. It's not about a specific medical label or diagnosis. No, it's all about the effect something has on you. So if your ADHD has a substantial and long-term negative impact on your ability to do normal daily activities, and that includes work stuff, then it can be legally considered a disability. And that classification, well, that's the key that unlocks all the protections in the Act.
Okay, so knowing the law is step one. Step two is much more personal. It involves the decision to actually disclose.
And yeah, this is the big one, isn't it? To tell your boss or not to tell. Look, there's no single right answer, and it is a deeply personal choice. It's 100% up to you. But what's important to know is that disclosure is the official starting line. It's the gateway to getting that formal support and legal protection we've been talking about.
And this conversation, it's a two-way street. If you do choose to disclose, your role is to let your employer know about your condition and, crucially, how it affects you at work. Their duty, their legal and, frankly, ethical duty, is to listen, to engage with you, and to start a real conversation to understand the challenges you're facing.
So where does that conversation lead? Well, once you've started it, the focus shifts to the employer's legal duty to provide something called reasonable adjustments.
So what in the world are reasonable adjustments? Well, the law basically defines them as changes an employer has to make in order to remove or reduce a disadvantage that an employee with a disability faces. The key word there is reasonable, right? It just means the change shouldn't be a massive burden on the business, thinking about things like cost and practicality. The goal here is simply to level the playing field, not to completely reinvent the company.
And these adjustments, honestly, they're often way simpler than people think. We're talking about really practical things, like getting instructions in writing instead of just being told them. Or maybe having a desk in a quieter part of the office. Flexible working hours can be an absolute game changer. Sometimes it's as simple as getting a pair of noise-canceling headphones. It's also worth noting that an employer might suggest an occupational health assessment, which is a great way to get a neutral expert to recommend specific adjustments just for you. All of these are super common and totally reasonable things to ask for.
And this really gets to the heart of it all. Reasonable adjustments are not about getting special treatment or some kind of unfair advantage. Not at all. It's about removing barriers so that every single person has an equal opportunity to do their best work and to thrive.
And when companies really lean into this idea, it stops being about just ticking a legal box. It starts to become about building a workplace that is genuinely fairer and more effective for every single person who works there.
Because this is about so much more than just following the rules. It's about creating a truly neuro-inclusive culture. That's an environment that doesn't just tolerate different ways of thinking and working, it actually understands and values them. And when that happens, everybody wins. And the data completely backs this up. Workplaces that champion this stuff don't just become nicer places to be, they become more successful. You see productivity go up because people are working in ways that actually suit them. People stick around longer, so retention gets better because they feel supported. And you see this amazing jump in innovation because you're finally tapping into a wider range of creative problem-solving skills.
So ultimately, this whole thing is a partnership. It just is. It needs employees to know their rights and be able to communicate what they need, and it needs employers to listen, to understand, and to act in good faith. It's a collaboration, plain and simple, built on respect.
So, as we wrap up, I just want to leave you with a question to chew on.
Whether you're an employee or a manager, what's one small, practical change you could bring up or put into action tomorrow to help make your workplace just a little more understanding and inclusive? Because real, lasting change, it almost always starts with one single thoughtful step.